Julie's, as I said, she's also trustee of YogoJo Foundation and godmother of many ideas that we then try and swiftly implement. And one of those was the idea of having live events and coinciding them with significant international events. So here we are, Educational Day. Let's see what we're going to learn today. So, Julie, you are an amazing person who's so active in the field of creating various programs and initiatives. You specialize in nutrition, in diet, in sleep, but also in cognitive behavioral therapy. Welcome. So happy to have you tonight. We had a little chat in advance what we were going to talk about tonight, and the first one was, how can yoga help kids at school? So Julie, over to you. Open it up.
There are so many ways, and I'm sure Freddie knows this as well. There are so many ways. When I was younger, because I used yoga when I was at school too, when I was at secondary school, but also with my own children when they were really diddy, going up through exams, all sorts of exams, and then GCSEs, A levels, and so always. But they yoga with regard to school helps in so many ways with regard to what your energy is like going off to school, isn't it? Kind of, because you can feel quite tired first thing in the morning and you don't want to go to school because you still want to stay in bed, especially at this time of year when it's windy outside and it's dark. So it can help you just first thing in the morning if you just do 5 minutes to wake yourself up and kind of alert and just stretch out or breathe. And then it can help you at the end of the day as well, after you've done all that education and learning, to relax and rest and go back to sleep. So with regards to education and learning, I'd say it's really important to have it in bits throughout the day as well, so that you kind of like think of it as your meals. So like your breakfast, your lunch and your supper. Think of your yoga in that way as well. So it's your beginning of your day, you're kind of revitalizing yourself in midday, and then later on for winding down too. Yeah, I know, Freddie. So it's kind of with making you feel better about yourself, your focus, your concentration, your confidence, and then all that kind of learning to keep your attention. Because I remember for myself at school, and I don't know if you found this, Freddie, and when I went and did my A-levels and when I did my degrees as well, sometimes, especially if it's warm in the classroom, you start getting a bit like this as well. So breathing and some of the yoga things that you, exactly, sort of things you haven't practiced can help to bring your attention back to what the teacher's saying, but also the work that you're doing in the classroom, which is really helpful. And it's for lunchtime. Just after lunchtime, when you're kind of flagging because you need some food, but also when you're feeling a little kind of groggy after the food, to alert yourself, for the afternoon as well. So I'd say yoga is just brilliant with regard to education in multiple ways. So I've made a few little notes of some of the kind of nuggets that can help, but I'd like you to give your thoughts as well. So I've put down kind of like 5-minute little doses of it throughout the day, help with concentration, confidence, and things like that, but also kind of like making you feel a little bit more vital. Now I have a question going back. Which are your particular favorite postures yourself if you're thinking of trying to revitalize yourself? I can't even say the word at the moment. Freddie and Joanna, if you're feeling like concentration is flagging.
Well, we try not to do postures or practices that energize us because we are quite energetic family. So we probably don't need that. What we do calming things. But main one which I do, especially when that's not educational example, but that's driving from the UK to Poland, I do breath of fire. and that helps me out to not to fall asleep and actually drive without coffee. So I don't know if we can demonstrate that very quickly. So that primarily is based on exhalation. You take a deep breath in, and then so you keep breathing steady, and I explain. So it's very much like you focus on exhaling, 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 and it's sort of pushing that stagnated air out. But at the same time, it just gets your head really kind of, energized and because you don't have that stale air inside you. The other one is the Pastrika breathing, where you will then focus on inhalation. So it's almost like those tools for pushing the air into the oven. So you literally just, and this time you just focus on breathing in. So you take a deep breath in and breathing. So, and then that's how you, at the same time, oxygenating your body. So these are my practices. I try not to share these with this little man because God help us then. What would you recommend, Julie?
Well, I've just thought of one for Freddie that he might like, actually. I'm just going to move out now at the moment. And this is Prey Mantis, which is a really good one for release. It's excellent because it's well, but if you wobble in it, it doesn't matter. And so you stand on one foot, lifting the other foot, breathe in, and then go. Now, this is a great one for Freddie and for yourself, Joanna.
I'm fitting into the screen. But Freddie can do that. Freddie, you do that. Freddie, look. Let's leave that. Do that. And Julie will explain. Just stand back and you do it.
You can definitely do it in a school uniform as well. There's no problem. So you're balancing on one foot, Freddie, lifting the other foot, breathing in, and then going like that. Brilliant. 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 And then obviously to balance, doing it on the other side as well. There's always one side that's a bit louder. Fabulous, fabulous. So that's the other wonderful thing about yoga is that and it can make you laugh as well. That's really good in that way. Another one, which you can do standing or sitting down, is light breath. And it's like this. And you'll definitely laugh when you see my face with this one. Find that one, Freddie. So you're just bending forward,
breath,
breathing in, and then releasing breath again. So you can do it standing or sitting. So in, brilliant. So really filling the lungs and energizing the body, relaxing. So if you've got any tensions or things that are during the day, or you just want to release before starting something, such as public speaking, that's really good as well, to just release any tensions. Did you like that one, Freddie?
I don't know, public speaking.
Which one did you prefer?
Sounds very quite funny, isn't it? Yeah. And you can stick the tongue out without being told off.
Not one to do when you've been sucking anything blue. So those ones are energizing but also releasing as well. So you're about to say something, Joanna?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that those practices can be even taken by teachers during the class or during the lesson, or even by the sport coaches in the outside in the field when you can see that kids are a little bit lethargic. You can definitely do the breathing practice. You can definitely do the lion's breath, which may look a little bit silly, but that also helps to kind of laugh, and then laughter. Again, we have laughter yoga that helps to remove the stale air that is inside us, and it's good fun. I also wanted to touch upon connection between our learning ability and sleep, eating, and stress, and how sleep and eating habits or patterns help us with increased performance at school. What's your thoughts on that, Julie?
Yeah, they're all really incredibly important, and everything's interlinked with each other as well. So eating behaviours, exercise behaviours, sleeping behaviours, use of screens like we're doing at the moment, all of these things are interlinked with regard to how us as individuals will learn, and this is for us as adults, teachers, parents, children, with regard to how we perform, how we can retain information, how we work well, and how we get on with our friends as well. So regular eating is very important, and the kind of nutrition that we have too. So the usual message, varied food, making sure to eat lots of fruit and vegetables, drinking water, and getting eating good foods for the gut as well. So all of those things like kimchi and so forth, but regularity of foods, so kind of avoiding not eating breakfast, because I know that's a regular one that can happen to older children and teenagers and those in their 20s on degrees, as well as us as adults. We want to try and get that bit of sleep, end of the sleep, and then perhaps sometimes miss out on our food in the morning, but it's so critically important to helping us to operate properly during the day and then get to sleep later on as well. So food really important, and obviously this stuff, see, I've got watermelons on here as well as water to lots of fluid, because the dehydration really affects attention, memory and concentration and focus as well, but also our well-being, our emotions and our self-esteem. So water, hydration through fruits, juices and water is really, really important. But the sleep one, very important.
Before we move to sleep, can I just make a little comment on the food? I noticed that since we started practicing with the kids, and yoga kind of changed them to a large degree, because they became more aware of their body, the kids, I mean, and because of that, also more aware of what foods are good for you and which of them are not good for you. So very much within that principle of do not harm. So do not harm people around you, but also do not harm yourself by the food that you provide into your body. So like I remember once of conversations about, like, having sugar. Well, I can have something sweet, but instead can I have a spoon of honey? So it's all about choices and making healthy choices. So again, having honey. Yeah, as you said, that sounds good. Yeah. No, honey is better than just the pure sugar.
Also, like, instead of having sugar in your tea.
Yeah, you can have honey and lemon and tea. It's really nice. So it's all about making those informed choices, but also choices that follow your intuition, because you're taking care about yourself. So that's in terms of very hands-on experience with nutrition at home. And it's the same with visits to McDonald's. Boys go to school in Sutton, where McDonald's is literally on the way, and I think that since they've been practicing yoga, they're more aware of, maybe I don't go there 3 times a week or twice a week, but just do it once every couple of weeks, because I know what's in it, and it's a treat rather than something that I must have. So I think it's not just that physical practice. So for body, yoga is medicine, because it has that whole element of meditation and relaxation, which is also a cornerstone of yoga. It's the kind of healing medium for the mind.
Totally and utterly couldn't agree more, Joanna, because it's the whole living it. It's actually the living of yoga. It's the up with the yoga and going to sleep with yoga. It's not something, it becomes like breathing, like sleeping, kind of just a normal practice within an individual's life. So it's just normal. It is how it's also that recognition, awareness that certain foods, like you're just talking about the different types of foods, it's how kind of cleanness, and it's the recognition of how that actually affects you emotionally. Other different types of foods will make you feel more balanced, as well as balanced with a tree balance. The actual thing, the types of things that are eaten, the way in which the eating is done, such as slow, focused, mindful, as in practices within life that are mindful as well. Absolutely.
So we know that food is important and our diet is important. We know that sleep is important, and we know that without that we don't have focus, we don't have concentration because we're sluggish in the morning. So how can yoga help sleep better, or what type of yoga shall we practice for sleep?
Oh, well, that one's great, because there's quite a variety of things a person can do to tailor yoga to them. And that's the wonderful thing about yoga as well. It's your yoga. You know, there's so much choice within yoga and so many different families of yoga as well. So your and inspiration of yoga can change during the lifespan. I mean, my children have been practicing yoga since they were historically, because I was pregnant with Louis, my youngest, when I was taking my yoga teaching qualification. So he was born 2 months after I actually did my practical, and then he came to all the when we were talking about the yogic philosophy, the Bhagavad Gita, the 8 heavens. So he kind of was immersed in yoga, but both of them had it through their life and have used it in different ways during that. So with regard to sleep, and this is why I was coming up to it was the relaxations when they were little and diddy. And when I say little and diddy, I mean from probably the age of 2 up to about the age of 5. They really like visualizations. So breathing with visualizations work fabulously with them, and they liked things such as color relaxations, and also special place, like somewhere they'd been on holiday. So they would focus on that and slow down the breathing. And as well as this being beneficial for sleep, it was also really beneficial to have this tool for when they went for their vaccinations or to the dentist, because they would take their mind to that special place. They weren't nervous when they were at the doctor's or the dentist as well. So that was a benefit. But the other things with sleep, you've got obviously a variety of different breathing exercises, but also the tense release, relaxation, the body scan, and the yoga nidra. So there's the different types of relaxation and breathing exercises and visualizations and meditations. And if you wish, it's great to have your own little vinyasa of wind down yoga. It can be quite small, 10 minutes with 5 minutes or of breathing relaxation afterwards. The choice is for the individual, but even 10 minutes of yoga at the end of the day before sleep time is really beneficial. And I use this myself as well, especially turbulent time, things that are perhaps slightly anxious, and I use
So that very much resonates with what we train at home. So you mentioned earlier about slowing down your breath while doing visualization. So we try to slow down our breath from what average is 7-8 breaths a minute to literally just 2 breaths a minute. And obviously you cannot do it straight away because you would just be choking or feel very uncomfortable. So what we do, we count in our breaths: inhalation for 4, holding for 2, breathing out for 8, holding for 2, and then breathing in again for 4. And you can see if you add 4s and 8s and 2s, that gives you about 16 seconds to enjoy just one inhalation. So then you can, or one cycle, so you do about 4 of them a minute. But then if you extend time that you're breathing in to 8 and breathing out to 8, then you have that breath really nicely balanced, and automatically your heart slows down, and then those electromagnetic impulses that it gets sent to your brain, then they start releasing endorphins like dopamine, oxytocin, so hormones of happiness and the hormones of relaxation, and then you naturally can actually cheat your brain into going to sleep. So I always think about it that my parents told me to count sheep, and I tell Freddie, Andy, and Jacob to count to 4 and to 8, and focus on your breath. And then all of a sudden you realize how quiet it is, because all the other thoughts, they just go, and the only thing that is in your head is that gentle sound of your breath. So that's what has been helping us a lot. And it's also good to practice before you go into exam, or for like a performance, or even before you sit down and do your homework. Because that sometimes can be very stressful as well. We know something about it, Freddie, don't we?
I couldn't agree more. And one thing about breath in this way, it's also great to see, as you're practicing for a period of time, how much longer the breath gets as well, so that you can, like eating and knowing the cleansingness of the body and the choice of food, if anything's changing with yourself, if certain tensions are starting to happen, blockages, lugging, or if there's a tightness around the jaw, because you're much more used to actually practicing it, and then you can recognize, something isn't quite right, I need to do this a little bit more again, you know, because this will make me feel better too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to discuss with you, and it's relationships, because I heard that sentence and it's still in my head, that if you want to see if your yoga is working, look at the quality of your relationships. And I think that was Travis Elliott, an American yoga teacher. So you can extrapolate it from relationships into friendships, and we know how important friendships are for young people, how important good friendships are for young people, and how important it is to be part of the group, of belonging, and actually having a nice relationship. And one thing that comes to my mind is that yoga makes you less reactive. So if you are more responsible, so you respond to a situation that occurs rather than just immediately react. And that may make you be more likable, feel that you more belong, because others want to be with you, because you don't snap back or want to rip other people's head off, but actually you are more toned in. What's your view on that, Julie?
Yeah, I would completely agree with regard to how it makes the individual that's practicing yoga respond to the outside world, because within them, they're more grounded, more rooted, more strong, rooted to the earth and grounded for themselves. That because they've got that love and kindness for themselves through the practice of yoga, it makes it easier for them to actually understand what's going on with other people too, and to actually have in that way. But it does slow things down, because the body and the mind are in a calmer place, in a stronger, solid, more confident place. Then it makes them not react in that way, and also not see things immediately as an insult to them. Something else may be going on for the person. It's not to do with them, it's something else, which is really
Yeah. Oh, great. Look, I could be chatting with you, well, you know me, and you know our conversation, so we can be here for another 2 hours easy. But I know that it's probably dinner time, homework time, and all the other lovely chores that all the parents and kids need to do in the evening. So I think we'll pause it here. we will definitely have Julie next time for another celebration. But for now, thank you so much from the depth of my heart and this little heart here as well. Thank you, Julie, so much, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Cheers, and thank you everybody who listened to us today. And for those practices, if you want to try them, go to our YouTube channel, YogoJo Foundation, and you find at least 116 different videos there, so you can indulge yourself. See you guys soon. Thank you.